Hey, congratulations on Predator. Was a film that should have been on the big screen, but a lot of people really, really do enjoy this film.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, I'm really pleased. It was fun. It was a fun film to make, and by far, like the most exciting film in my career. So, it was a pleasure, especially me being native and being also Comanche, just to be able to add that kind of authenticity to the Predator genre. Oh God, it's amazing.
Well, tell us how you got on board to this project in the first place.
Yes. So I had an interview with Dan, and I came on kind of in the development stage prior to pre-production, and it was really nice. Dan will say that when he didn't tell me this for a long time, but this is like the best compliment ever. I heard him do an interview, and he said that when he met me, that he felt like he was meeting like the grown-up Naru, and that's the lead character. So I was like, oh, that's the best compliment I've ever had. So so I think for me it was like a perfect fit, and I'm glad that I got to do this, and coming on board, and I believe in representation, and also to make sure that Native people have better parts, better roles, and a better all over authentic and visibility, than what we've had in the past. So to be able to create that within this franchise, it was perfect. It was great for me.
Now, of course, we all know that this film all revolves around the Comanche culture. Tell us how you were brought on board to basically improve the accuracy of a film. I understand Dan's not Comanche.
No, he's not Comanche, but you know what? He's smart enough to know that, for the film to be authentic, that you do need Native people involved. And I am Comanche, and I'm on the Comanche. I'm an enrolled member of the Comanche Nation, and in fact, where I'm talking to you from today, I am in my homelands. I'm here in Oklahoma, in Lawton, Oklahoma, and we are known for our Comanche community here, but we are not known for our internet.
No, that is completely understandable. I'm not even sure if you were contacting me from the time period where Prey was supposed to take place either, right?
Absolutely, yes. I don't know. Like the first couple of did okay. I don't know what happened, but maybe it's just a windy day. But no. So for me, putting all of our like cultural aspects. I was raised by my grandparents, so I was raised hearing stories that were four generations away from myself. So to me, that was really important because I was able to add all those nuances that you wouldn't normally get from a non-native filmmaker.
Now, can you tell some of the stuff that on film that's Comanche that most of us probably, some of us, when we watch it, we're not Comanche, so we probably just go under that assumption. But what are some of the special stuff that you are proud of to put into this film?
Oh, I'm proud of everything in this film, but most importantly, the language aspect. I think it's really important because this was the first time, and can you imagine in 2022, this was the first time that the world got to hear what Comanche people really sound like when they talk. The language, that we use today, even though we try to use like some older words and take it back more into a period. But we got the world got to see how Comanche people relate to each other as like in a family, like the mother relates to her children, like the war chief relates to all the young warriors coming up, like the warriors relating to each other. You got to see us actually have those personal relationships that you normally don't see. Especially being Comanche, like I always say, we ride in, take what we want, burn everything, ride out, and that's just what the world saw. But you get to see how we use medicine. You see how it was funny because recently a man told me, "Oh my gosh, when I watched that, it reminded me of my grandparents because when we grew up in the country. There was not like a Walmart or or a Walgreens or, a local drugstore. And if we hurt ourselves, our grandmother walked out, picked all these medicinals, and she doctored us and, healed us through those. And so, I think you see things like that. You see a hunting style. You see the sign language. The Comanche Sign Language that they were using and able to talk to each other, so the predator wouldn't hear them. There's just I could go on because there's so many things, and I love the fact that the world got to see all these things.
Now, if I recall correctly, there was an opportune moment where on streaming you could actually watch the entire film in Comanche. Sorry, I did not do that myself.
You should try it though. You should really, because it really pulls you into Naru's world, and you get to see everything. From it gives you like a native lens to see things through. So it's really kind of nice, and that's the first time that a movie, upon its release, ever came out in a native language. And for me, being Comanche, that's the first time that we've ever had any kind of film in our Comanche language.
Wow, that is certainly amazing. Now, with the upcoming Blu-ray release, will there be an option there too to watch it in Comanche?
Absolutely, yes.
Um, tell one of the more difficult parts, if this film was you know geared towards Comanche, was it difficult during the casting process to find actors in that are familiar with Comanche?
No, because they were able to learn that being actors, but it was really great to find so many native young actors that are new to the screen. So, um, and I thought that just the casting process to see how many people were actually out there, I thought that was really important.
Well, then tell us how Amber Midthunder was perfectly cast for this movie. If I recall, she is not Comanche.
She is not Comanche, but she's a Plains tribe, and Comanches are a Plains, they're a Plains native. And one of the things that we have, sometimes we have cultural things that are similar, and one of the things that we do have is whistling at night, which you see in the film. And for Comanches, we don't whistle at night because we believe it calls spirits. And she's Northern Plains, and so for her, in her culture, they don't whistle at night either. So when we were doing that scene towards the end where she just gives that whistle when she uses the French trapper as bait and she's trying to level up against the predator, and she just whistles, right? So when we were shooting that, we were shooting it without the whistle. That was not in the script. And Dan was like, Jane, come look at this. It needs something, and I'm not sure what it needs. Can you just watch? And we were watching the monitor as she was doing the scene. I said, I know what it needs. And I ran into the set, and I said, okay, Amber, this time when you deliver the line, I want you as you turn your head to whistle. And she just looked at me and she said, I'm not whistling. We don't whistle at night. She said, you whistle. And I said, I'm not going to whistle. We don't whistle at night. And our AD came walking by and we said, Rich, can you do a whistle? And he just started whistling. And we said, wait, can you just do one whistle? So like she'll deliver her line, she'll put her mouth like she's whistling, and you do the whistle. He said, oh, sure, I can do that because he's not native. And he did the whistle, and then we did like 4 takes of that. But when we were in edit, the first take, Dan was just like, oh my god, this is great, this is what it needed. And we took that first take because it was perfect.
Wow, I did not realize how important just a small thing like a whistle is for a film.
Absolutely. Very important. And I can tell you that I've been in screenings all over the country, and when we screen to when we screen to native people, it really speaks to them because you see her turn her head and whistle, and then you can hear the crowd, like the audience, they go, "Oh." Because it speaks to a lot of people and they know like something big's getting ready to happen because she just whistled.
Wow. And for Amber herself, how what was her training process like? Did you bring in sort of like a Comanche dialect coach, or she was actually a pure natural?
No, she was a natural because she speaks some of her own language with her father. So it's just learning a different language and just kind of coaching her, which I helped coach her when we were in Canada, and then when we came here and we worked on on the last part of putting everything together in post, she was able to work into a studio. So we brought in some of our language speakers to work with her, and she was great. She just like soaked it up. It was really easy for her.
Now the look of the period, how accurate was through the costumes with everyone in during that period?
That was pretty accurate because you have to remember there really aren't things from that time, that are, native objects. I work with a lot of museums and I've studied collections. So, like, what you'll see is you'll see a few renderings of things if you're researching this time period, but you have to, like, also remember that the renderings from that time period were not done by native people, so they're used through a different lens. And so we were able to really recreate, I thought, things that would have been important during that time, like the colors that we use, the earth tone dyes, the different earth colors, that were natural dyes that were made from plants, that were made from clay, that were made from the different types of dirt, like that red color, comes from like highly oxidated dirt, which you see, I'm calling you from, we're in the Comanche homelands right now, and our earth here is really like rich like that. It's very oxidized with that red. So, some of that was able to like kind of throw back to our Comanche culture. But also when Dan wrote this, he wanted this to be like an outerlying band of Comanches that had never even seen, Europeans, or they haven't had any contact with Europeans. So that's why when you look at the regalia, that there aren't a lot of beads, there aren't a lot of like trade goods and trade items, because this band of Comanches hasn't started trading yet.
Hmm.
So I think it's very accurate.
Wow. Now I'm gonna take a wild guess. You weren't really too involved on the look of the feral predator, but can you comment on the end product of what the predator actually ended up looking like
Yes,
for this
and I
film?
was involved. We
Oh.
had those Predator redesign meetings because that was the beauty of Dan's brilliance in being able to take this film back as a prequel. Because, we do have like these certain guidelines for the Predator, but because he was taken back in time, we were able to change the look of him. So we wanted him to have a more feral, more physical type of look, even all the way down to his technology. He didn't have all the technology that you see, in when you watch current Predator films. So we redesigned him. We wanted him to have like a different look too, because as people progress in time. I mean, this is a Predator from the 1700s, so like, look at the hundreds of years forward, how he's progressed to what people are used to seeing. So we wanted him to have a whole different look. And then for me, I'm also a rock climber, so I like. I was telling our creative crew, about climbing, and I said, because one of the things I missed was seeing the predator jump from tree to tree like he did in the first Predator movie. Like the other predators that you saw didn't have that. I mean, I don't know, for some reason the ability for him to jump and do all this physicality was kind of diminished. So the fact that he was jumping from tree to tree, I said he needs to have like a dew claw, that helps him, because I was telling them that when you climb, your little toe is as powerful as your big toe. If you have to hold your weight and you're trying to jump and get to the next little ledge or get to the next handhold. And they were like, "Oh, that's really cool." So I was instrumental because this predator actually has that.
Wow, yeah, that is very significant. You played a very important part into this film. And Jane, one last thing that I do want to cover is the film is, I want to say, all of it is outdoors. Can you talk about the challenges of filming it outdoors? And was this anywhere, near, Oklahoma or its territories around there?
Okay. Yes, we filmed outdoors we filmed outdoors most of the day because we did shoot it, most days because we shot it up in Canada, and we didn't have like a big sound stage or a studio like you would, in LA. And I think that really helped everybody get into their characters. And, I love being outdoors. You have to remember that we shot this during the pandemic. when the border was closed. So just to, be out of that lockup that the pandemic brought and to be in the beautiful outdoors every day was great. And when you see the film start, it says Northern Great Plains because the Comanches were mobile. They were one of the first tribes to have horses. We borrowed them from the Spanish. But so they had that mobility that could take them all over, and the reason why they were up so far north is they were following buffalo, so they could have a really good hunt and store up meat and hides and everything they needed for the winter before the winter hit.
This film is so rich in Comanche history. It brings me back to my indigenous American classes back in college. So, Jane,
Aw,
thank you very much for speaking to us about Prey. I can't wait to get a copy of it myself and see if there's any, behind the scenes featurettes and cut scenes and so on. And most definitely, I'm gonna have to watch this film in Comanche, like you indicated.
please do so. I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.